And now, a word from our sponsors. Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Their creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM. Do it to it.
Welcome everyone to the Taters and Rebs Wrestling Podcast. Rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Taters and Rebs Wrestling Podcast. We just got off the phone. And
With our friend Botch.
well, it's the Taters and Rebs Wrestling Podcast with Adrian, Mike, and Charlie.
There we go.
Anyways, we just had the most awesome conversation probably in a long time, at least for me. So we really enjoyed this. Taters, you want to give a little insight?
Yeah, we just finished with a great conversation with a man who, in my opinion, is a legend. A man who I idolized growing up because I hated Hulk Hogan.
Future Hall of Famer.
And a man who is the master and the ruler of the world.
Psycho.
Sid
Vicious.
Oh,
boys.
All I can say to the legions and legions of tater tots out there, you're going to enjoy this.
Oh, yeah, man. He talked everything from the current product, a little bit of the territory days, the life in general. So, I mean, this was amazing.
It truly was. It's if you know of anybody that has not a current, if you know anyone that is not a current wrestling fan, but they were at one time, they grew up watching it, they know who Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, they know who this man is. Pass this on to them and let them hear it. It was an amazing conversation, guys, that we had.
The man's an encyclopedia of knowledge about the wrestling business. I'm blown away.
There were a few things I wanted to ask him that I didn't get a chance to ask him, but maybe next time.
Oh yeah, we
And
look
there will
forward
be a next
to it.
time.
Yes, sir.
It's
All right, so should we
still
stall out a little bit longer and make them wait to hear the interview, or should we keep talking a little bit?
I got to ask y'all a question, though. I mean, I heard y'all got out of Yolo County this morning. How was that?
Yeah, and see what started the thing. I'm gonna cut back on the drinking. See, Botch and I were in a bar, and this dude said wrestling was fake. So he was, that's a big line with me. He overstepped the line, so I ended up having to whip his ass. It took 6 of Yolo County's finest, knees in my back, tasing me to keep me down, and then Botch decides to come out of nowhere and scissor kick one of the deputies in the back of the head.
Oh,
so
Lord.
he gets cuffed up. We get thrown in the back of the squad car, and we get put in Yolo County Got to give a shout out to C-Block.
Folks, if you go to our Facebook page, that's facebook.com/tatersandribs and hit shop now. You can get your very own Yolo County Department of Corrections t-shirt. Sorry, I had to do the cheap plug.
Give a shout out to the Yolo County Department of Corrections. I was just mad when I showed up and Big Boss Man wasn't in there.
If you listened to the show last night, a guy named Nails had a message for y'all.
What was his message?
Yeah, you'd have to listen to last night's show to find out. I can't repeat it.
You can't reveal it?
I can't.
You can't reveal it.
Just because I can't do... Huh?
Don.
I can't do the Nails voice, so I'm going to leave that to him. Well, guys, that's all I really got for this segment. I don't think we should keep the fans waiting any longer.
No. I'm sure the legions and legions of tater tots are already on the edge of their seats.
And the Botchamaniacs.
The Botchamaniacs.
And the riblets.
Yeah. Oh. Well, guys, for taters, ribs, and botch, Mr. Psycho Sid Vicious. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Taters and Ribs Wrestling Podcast. We have a very special guest tonight, Mr. Sid Vicious. Sid, how you doing?
Great. How you doing today?
We can't complain at all. We're very excited to have you on here.
Well, I've been looking forward to this. We had little problems at first with the time frame and everything, but I'm glad we finally got it cleared up.
Oh, yes, sir. Same here. I guess we just jump right into it.
Sure, let's get right into it.
All right. I was told you were discovered by...
Let me ask you. You're from West Virginia, right?
Virginia.
Virginia, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What part of Virginia?
Well, I was in Northern Virginia. Now we're in, me personally, I'm in Southwest Virginia, just south of Roanoke.
Roanoke, okay. Roanoke, for whatever reason, we were in Roanoke, seemed like every other week. We ran that town in WCW pretty frequently.
Oh, yeah.
And me personally, I'm in Richmond.
Okay, Richmond. I've been in Richmond as well. I got subpoenaed to I guess what you call Sean Battery. Remember Danny Spivey supposedly hit some guy from the ring, at ringside or something, and I don't think anything ever come of it. But I remember having to go to court there one time.
Oh, wow.
And I'm from Texas. Those guys are from Virginia. I'm actually down here in Texas.
What part of Texas you from?
I'm in the DFW Metroplex, northern Dallas area, a city called McKinney.
Yeah, I used to live in outside Mesquite there in Seagoville.
Okay. I know Seagoville very well.
When I was a kid, I worked for this company called Delta Steel. They put up those big steel buildings like airport hangars and stuff like that. When I was a kid, I did that work for a summer down there. Man, I'm telling you what, it is hot in Texas, dude.
It is very hot down here. We like to say down here in Texas that Texas is hell's waiting room, and this is God's way of letting us know that we do not want to go to hell when we die. Because if it's hot here in Texas, it's hotter in hell.
I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, when we were coming home from work every day, not every day, but it seemed like every day, but there'd be a car on the side of the road just in flames. From I guess just being so hot. And too, the traffic, in certain places is just it's as tough as anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we definitely plan to visit very soon. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're kind of in a triple digit heat spell right now down here that we're battling constantly. We've actually set the record, I believe, this year already for consecutive triple digit heat days down here in Texas.
You're in Texas, and you're in Virginia, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Texas, man. I think it holds. I remember it seems like every year it holds the records. It sets a new record for being triple digits for the most consecutive days. That, of course, I'm so close to being here in Arkansas. We hear a lot of weather that comes from Texas, and of course, my mother's from Texas, and I was down there. Of course, I was there one summer doing, like I said, steel work, man. And I'm telling you what, man. It was hot. And being on top of those metal roofs, dude, it was, of course, I was much younger back then, but no, it's hot in Texas. Texas for sure. Is this hot for you in Virginia?
I'm dealing with 75-degree temperatures right now.
It's not bad now. But when it is hot, the humidity will about drain everything out of you. You just die just standing still.
I know.
You walk outside and you immediately get a case of what we call swamp ass.
No, you really do, man. I'm not. My mom's walking to the car, like every time you take a step, it's like a dust ball. It's just, and when you look at properties like when you ride through Texas down highways, it's just dirt out there. There's no grass.
Oh man.
It's dusty out here.
But but the one thing about Texas, and you're from Texas, notice, like when I was there visiting, actually I was there visiting, my sister was really sick with cancer. She was dying, and that's the reason I was there, along other than the time before doing steel work. But everybody in Texas thinks that's like the only state in the United States. Like, there's only Texas, and I'm never leaving Texas. I don't want to go anywhere but Texas.
I love Texas. This is home for me. But me and my wife, our selling point right now on leaving Texas is the heat. We're tired of the summers here, and we've toyed with the notion of moving a little bit north, probably towards Colorado or something, to where it's not as hot. But we got kids and everything, and my wife has a daughter from a previous marriage, so the only reason why we're not leaving, that's keeping us here, is we don't want to take her from her father that lives here in the area too. So we're waiting on her to get older and everything, and then once she's old enough to
make that decision, then
make that decision. Yeah, we're gonna be getting out of here, because these summers they're brutal down here. It's so hard to do anything on the weekends with the kids.
You can't even go outside, to have fun. I don't care. I remember again visiting a couple times, different times in Texas, and just go for a walk out. Shoot it, you sweat before you ever get out of the house.
Right.
Well, how long you guys been doing this podcast?
A couple months now. We're finally starting to gain a little bit of traction. We just kind of built it from the ground up, and it's just kind of taken off on us.
Well, good. Well, that's the same thing we're doing with the Vicious Circle. Well, I hope to God date is, Labor Day and everything. I think we're going to be able to pull that off. Talking with Steve Joyner and Dave Norman, that they're already getting a lot of, there's a lot of talk about it. I heard today that WWE started their own podcast.
Yeah, I heard that myself.
Now, again, you guys might educate me this. I know while we're all doing podcasts, but why would they do a podcast? I mean, because that's what I would guess a lot of these podcasts are about, is what's going on in wrestling. If they were doing a podcast, it would it hurt the other podcast, or do you think it would help the other podcast?
They have been known to be. They've been known to want to drive other entities out of business, per se. So, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough thing to swallow right there. I don't know their motives, and I hate to be judgmental. That's what I'm seeing out of it, because podcasting seems to be growing and being more and more popular as time goes by.
Right. Well, I don't. It's just this is. I don't think this is like a self wrestling business where say you guys have to get a crew of wrestlers and well, this guy named Jerry Bosick out of Oklahoma, another struggling wrestling promoter. But this podcast, we can run our podcast, for nothing. It's not costing us a lot of money, and our followers come to us because they want to listen to us.
Yep.
Of course, the WWE's podcast is going to have a lot of listeners, but I think when something like that gets going, I think it'd be good for the other podcast.
It could, and I'm wondering if they're selling advertising, anything like that, because a lot of podcasters have got killer sponsors. We don't really have any, but that's not why we're doing it. We're just fans talking about wrestling with other fans.
Right.
You know
what? And I bet you 90% or more, or like yourself, me, I'm doing it as a wrestling fan too, but also just get some wrestling news out there and get some of the, find what we find out that might not be right. We're trying to, bring some light on things that might make things look a little more, true, or bring some truth to things like that.
Right.
Is that what you guys sort of do too?
Yeah, we put our opinions out there on the current products, and relive memories from our years watching wrestling growing up.
Well, what is y'all's opinion on the current product right now?
Well, what we see on TV, I'm not too up to. I watch it every week, but I'm not too into it like I was, say, back in 1998.
Right.
But for what I'm seeing this fall, what's coming this fall, I'm more than psyched about it.
Now, you're talking about the new wrestling company?
Yes, sir.
I think that's going to be good too. I really do. I mean, for instance, I haven't watched wrestling in so long. I have a little bit. Me and Barry Norman, Buddy Man, we put our name in the pool for the writing team, and we watched a little bit of it to just to see if they were to call us, what's going on. And be honest with you, Barry's a little more was a little more judgmental than I was. But we both saw it on a weird night. I didn't know what was going on either, but my understanding was this is when Vince came down and they had to change a lot of things. I guess USA Network had said something about, you're not going to take all the talent and split it up and get SmackDown. And I don't know if this is true even. But it came within, the WWE themselves said that you weren't going to put the lower talent on SmackDown where, because already they said that they had the lowest rating in Raw history. So what I saw supposedly was a total shakeup, meaning that I guess they already done the roster change. Then they were going back trying to make USA Network happy, and that and doing that in midstream, just showing up to a television taping and have to do that. And then when I asked a friend of mine in the company, I said, "Man, that was a real weird episode." Which I've seen a lot of weird episodes, but that supposedly was the case. It was so out of ordinary, differently, Oh yeah. But anything else I've seen out of it now, I know all of it can't be, that, very reason that everything's that bad. But some of the things I've seen have just been horrible. The one thing I do say, and I repeat all the time, is that they seem to have even some of the smaller guys and the bigger guys too. They all seem to be more fluid. Say back in the day of Colonel De Beers and days like that. Talking about the Iron Sheik, where they were characters, which they have characters now. But say, for instance, that Russo guy that does that, like that foreign Bulgarian guy gimmick,
Oh, yeah.
I think he's probably, I told him this, I said, man, I think he might be too good for that character because he can do other things other than just acting like he's from Bulgaria or something,
Oh, yeah.
And I saw I saw him on something weird. Him and his wife one night. Can't remember what it was, but it was something like I want to say it was like one of those contests where you go, you rap and I rap, or you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, they done a Dollar General commercial together. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but I seen them do some different things, that were, outside his character. I think, again, I'll say it again, I think he's maybe too good for that character where, he's not reaching his full potential, doing that. I think last time I saw him in the ring, though, they were letting him, say, venture out and be a little different than he was, say, a year ago. Maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago when he was doing that, gimmick with Mark Henry.
Yeah.
USA versus whatever he was. Now, that didn't last very long. You know what? And I just saw, this is what happens when you only see one night of things. You can't really judge anything. But I think this was like his first show or something. But, they had Mark Henry out there. It was a live television match. And, man, as often as I've seen Mark Henry, not that often, say, maybe 5 times or so. I never seen the people really get behind him. And then the one time that they really got behind him was with that Russo guy. And that's the first time I've seen that USA, Russia or foreign country thing actually, that the crowd really, really, in my opinion, really got into it. And then they just beat Mark Henry, and then nothing else came of that. I thought, man, that was like the one time you really had something going, and and those things are hard to come by anymore. For people to have interest in that, and they just do it to the wayside.
Oh yeah, he got so over, it was unbelievable, and then all of a sudden he's gone. I mean, I don't know what they done with him.
It was strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was.
Did you notice it too?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just, again, I watch it sporadically, and again, I thought, wow, this thing's got a chance to do something. Then they just, squashed it and went on to something else.
I think he had a couple U.S. title runs, but after that, I mean, it was just nothing.
Right.
Why do you think that they do that to guys? It seems like they'll give someone a storyline, and it'll take off. The fans will love it. It gains traction, gains momentum, and then all of a sudden it just disappears like the next week. And it's almost like they do that more commonly nowadays.
Now on that, this is the only thing, and I'm purely guessing because I didn't see anything that built up towards that or after that. That could have been one of those deals, guys, that was just to get over Russo. Say for instance, and I'm pretty sure that he was pretty new at that character at the time, and Mark Henry, who been around, and then it could. I mean, again, they could have just been that they were using it that one time to get him over as beating the strongest man in the world. You know what I mean? And being from USA, and I mean, I don't know. Now, what I always say now. Sort of answer your question though, why do they always do things like that? And sometimes, guys, and I'm not exaggerating, it's called vindictive booking. Do you know what that means?
I've heard that before.
Okay, vindictive booking means this. Okay, now we all agreed that we just saw that little angle that it looked like it had a really good chance to take off, right?
Yep.
All right. So now Mark had been there before recently. They could have changed things when they saw that they were getting that kind of reaction. Now, I do know for a fact, and I won't go into it, but Mark had said and done some really, things that would have, drove Vince crazy, and we all do, and I did too. But I mean, I know he said some things like and I tried to tell Mark one time we were. This is back when wrestling was struggling, man, and Mark didn't realize it. A lot of people weren't getting paid at the time. It was me, Davey Boy, and Owen. Owen, of course, is one of the greatest registrars of all time, and he didn't really like it. Here it is, the three of us are in the locker room, and I know that everybody's having a hard time. And okay, I forget what Mark was doing. Maybe it was one of his first shows, and he started bragging about, he's getting a limo everywhere he goes. He's getting $500,000 a year guaranteed. Blah blah blah. He's getting paid to sit at home and train for the Olympics and shit like that. Then when someone like Owen and Davey and I hear this, that we're on the road struggling our fucking asses off, even, like not me. I was located at the business, but I do know a great deal of guys that were, say, going on the road just to get, say, if you could get $200 or $300 draw, take that cash, go back home, put in your I don't know what you call it, checking account or whatever your debit card account thing,
Right.
just where they have enough money to go on the road the next week, because they weren't getting paid sometimes for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. So that's things like Mark also, like, I remember this is do y'all remember the whole deal about where Mark ate the poop sandwich?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, this is, again, it was just unlucky or lucky I was there. We were in Daytona, Florida, doing a TV taping. Now, Mark, right before his first match, he ended up hurting himself. I forget how. I think actually some of his first matches, Bill Watts actually took his place in Oklahoma. But anyway, we're in Daytona, he's on crutches. I walk in, and then I goes, and I could tell he's upset. I said, "What's up? What's wrong? What is that?" And he goes, "Man, someone stole my Subway subsidy. I told you I wasn't back. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna beat him up." Blah blah blah. I looked, just so happened, looked around. There's Ron Simmons, there's Undertaker, there's a bunch of pretty tough guys standing around. And I said, "Mark, and when Mark was talking about making all that money in front of Davey, and then I tried to tell him then too. I said, Mark, and I don't tell people my deal or how much I'm getting because I don't want to upset them either. So I said, Mark, some of us, we get paid differently. We don't need to be bragging about it in the locker room, especially when things were so bad. And then in this incident, I told him too. I said, Mark, we need to be careful. What you say around here, what are you going to do? Because it could really backfire on you. And it was that night that, and I think it was Rikishi that put the poop on the sandwich. And then what they did, they made a big skit on their TV one night. Remember that?
Yeah, it was X-Pac that did that, wasn't it?
Well, I saw it. But again, I was just one of those deals. I was just flicking through TV and I saw it happen. And I thought I saw Triple H out there too. I could be wrong. But there were, several people. But here it is, though. This is the deal. Just, don't do stuff like that. Don't put yourself in those positions. And that's what I call vindictive booking. All right, so meaning that, okay, yeah, Mark might have done a few stupid things. But here, you got the people going. That's usually a sign, man, that might help you in the house shows a little bit. Instead of saying, okay, you know what? Mark might have done some stupid things and said some stupid things and done stupid things, but you know what? I'm not going to let my anger for him not help my business. Meaning, hell, we could put that match in the house shows, USA versus Bulgaria, and that might actually help draw some money, especially when, if I'm not mistaken, at the time that was going, everything that was happening, they were struggling to sell a ticket, for a live event. So that's what I call vindictive booking. Instead of, doing something, using something that could, maybe do yourself some good, you don't do it because you're mad at that person or something. You know what I mean? Right.
Oh yeah.
That's what I call vindictive booking work. It's a lot of cases of that out there where they did that to people where, could have used, there's a lot of people that have been through the business where, say, for instance, I believe Dr. Death Steve Williams could have been used a whole lot better in places. He mostly was in WCW. But people in charge there, one, they were a little bit scared of him. And the person that was really, from my understanding, I'm not putting the total blame on him, but I heard it was mostly Ric Flair that wanted to see him get over because, Steve Williams, especially in his prime back at WCW, he would have made a hell of a champ because he'd been really believable.
Oh, yeah. Tough as they come.
You know what I mean?
Dr. Death was a very intimidating man. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and for sure. I mean, because this is when I'm just getting. Now, there also could have been some deals that we don't know, which I know he went to Japan a lot, and I had a deal to go to Japan, and they sort of told me if I went to Japan, I could go to Japan, but that's probably going to slow my career in WCW down. So maybe Steve didn't. I don't know if that was the case either. I'm guessing on this. There was a guy for sure you could have used a little bit better. And the only thing I heard, it was totally rumored. No one sit down and told me this, other than this locker room talk, that it was Flair, suggesting that Steve Williams shouldn't be used. In the way he would like to have been used. And I know Steve Williams was, made a lot of comments about that. So I know that I'm not the only person heard or said that.
Oh, wow.
But there's a lot of people been, we hear through certain eras that could have done much better if they got pushed. Like always heard Ricky Steamboat, which I know was one of the greatest workers of all time. And when we look back on it, they say they sort of held him back because Hogan was, over at the time and he didn't want to rock the boat or whatever. This is my opinion, guys, that I don't think you can get enough guys over at the same time. If you could get 20 guys over, get them all over. Don't just get one person over. And I think that's sort of been the downfall for WWF or WWE because, they sort of, emphasize one person only and sort of just barely highlight some of the other people, and that's just what I heard. I wasn't, I didn't witness. Now, when I was there, when Ricky Steamboat was there, this is sort of at the end of Hogan's run anyway, so it really, wouldn't have mattered any, and who knows, maybe Hogan, and I don't know if that's true again, that's just hearsay. But we do know there's been a lot of cases of vindictive booking, saying not let somebody get over because, like John Noah the Barbarian, I don't know why he didn't get over, but he was a hell of a worker and he could have gotten over too, but sometimes people say he was a little too stiff, so.
Right.
But it happens. We just don't know who it all happens to.
I always thought when the Barbarian came on the scene, I believe he was managed by Harley Race, and when he come on, I remember watching him as a kid, and there was something about him, his character, his how dominant he was in the ring. I thought in my head, this guy here is going to dominate the roster and he's going to dominate the industry because he was.
You talking about Barbarian or Vader?
Barbarian.
Okay. I don't remember Harley Race managing Barbarian. I do remember him managing Vader.
I do remember him managing Vader. I was thinking that he did get or he was seen with Harley Race or something. It was so long ago, and at that point in time, I was young. I was just a kid, really just getting into wrestling. Because down here in Texas, growing up, we had the Sportatorium, and then of course Fritz would work with I believe he'd work with Memphis a lot with Jerry Lawler and them. So we get a lot of Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett. So they would bounce back and forth a lot, and then we didn't really get WCW until probably. As far as I remember, probably about 89, 90. And then it was just, I think it was on TBS, and that was whenever I got my first dose of the major brand, and then I didn't even know of WWF at the time until years later when we finally started getting that aired down here in Texas.
Right,
but it was I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to the WCW stuff.
Yeah, I got you. Well, Texas, man, one time Texas was about as big as wrestling ever got. We get the Von Erichs, man. Kerry Von Erich was a big time before big time ever happened.
Yeah. He was a staple for Dallas wrestling. Definitely was.
Yeah, for that being a little local promotion, doing shows that big. I remember the first time he came into Memphis for Lawler, and just sold out everywhere he went. It's like seeing a rock star for the first time.
Right. Yeah, they. I remember there was a circuit down here called USWA, and they came. I grew up in a little town up on the Red River called Bonham, Texas, and the USWA came to Bonham and did a show at the Armory, and that was Chris Adams and Stunning Steve Austin at the time, and
You're listening to the Taters and Ribs Show.
And so I actually got to meet him. I was in the 4th grade, I believe it was, and I got to meet Chris and Chris Adams, Chris Von Erich. I got to meet Stunning Steve Austin when he was, just starting out. And I think that was what really started the traction for me getting into wrestling, with the local stuff here with the Sportatorium and USWA and WCCW.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I'd say it was about the first major pay-per-view I remember. It really got me into watching it every week. I'd say it was Royal Rumble 1992. And I still go back and watch that sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I was probably 6, 7 years old. And I got to tell you, as a kid, being, 6, 7 years old, there's the Sid Justice character, it just scared the daylights out of me back then.
Yeah, I was, especially at 6 years old.
But I really grew to, love the character growing up. I mean, the Attitude Era and beyond, that was good time for me.
Well, that's just when wrestling was changing a little bit, at that time right there. So that was a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh, yeah. You just walk around and then everyone around you was wearing wrestling T-shirts everywhere you go.
Oh, yeah. It was a big deal back then. It's weird, like you say, you don't hardly see a wrestling T-shirt anymore.
Oh, not really.
I saw last time I was watching the WWE, they had some kind of special that said, if I'm not mistaken, if you buy one T-shirt, you get the next one for $1 or something like that.
Yeah, they were doing that. They were doing that during the SummerSlam pay-per-view.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, it's like you buy one, you get one for $1.
Right.
They have sales on them a lot.
Yeah, I heard that Becky Lynch, I've seen her once or twice. She leads the WWE in merchandising. And then Ronda Rousey, someone told me Ronda Rousey lost a finger.
She damn near cut it in half. On the set of 911, I believe it was.
What is 911? I forget what that's about.
It's a police drama or EMT drama on Fox.
Right.
I think she was getting set for her return too, getting ready for that from her injury that she got at WrestleMania, and she was getting set to come back, and then this injury happened where she almost lost her finger.
Now, how did she hurt herself at WrestleMania?
I think it was it Becky Lynch putting the disarmor on her, and she overdid it, I believe, or I think that was the storyline they went with on it. I believe she injured her arm though it was her hand. She broke her hand at WrestleMania. That's what it was.
I think I heard that too. Now, someone told me last night that she was contemplating taking some time off to have a baby.
I heard that myself.
I've heard that one.
That's crazy.
Now, I've also been hearing some rumors going around that Vince is really hungry to sign her husband to WWE right now.
Travis Brown.
Yeah, that's his name, Travis Brown.
Yeah.
That's a big dude.
Yeah, he's legitimately like 6'6", 6'7". The only thing is, this is the only thing I say is, right now this, you had the big deal with Brock and wrestling and UFC too at the same time. Now you got Ronda Rousey. She's second to Becky Lynch. That's not a good sign. Now Travis Brown, I've seen the guy, as a UFC fan watching him, and he's as big as anybody up there, and those kind of athletes could definitely parlay into a wrestler pretty quick. And they don't have any guys as big as him, so it might be, might be a good sign.
Oh yeah, for sure. And with them moving to Fox, they're probably looking for all the star power they can get.
Exactly.
I think they're talking about Fox is wanting WWE to bring Brock Lesnar over to Fox or to SmackDown to help with the ratings and stuff over there.
So they are on Fox?
Do what?
SmackDown is on Fox?
They're moving to Fox, I believe, this fall, Charlie?
Yeah, I forget the exact date, but I think it's sometime in October. The first Friday of October, I do believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 days after the first live AEW event.
It's 2 days after the AEW live event?
Yes.
Now, what day are they going to be live?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays? Now, not that I know anything, but, I used to do some of these not podcasts, they were like little internet shows, and they usually did them on Wednesday nights because, for whatever reason, Wednesday nights, because I guess this was back when they had the Monday Night Wars, and they had SmackDown on Tuesday, and they had what was it, Thunder on Thursdays, and so Wednesdays was a good day to do things because there was not a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
Now, how's everybody thinking this new company's going to do?
From what I've seen so far, I think they're going to do great. But they're gonna, the WWE is gonna come after them for sure. They've already moved NXT to USA to, battle them live, like head to head from 8 to 10 on Wednesday nights.
Yeah. Oh, really? WWE is coming in guns loaded.
Oh, so they're going to run the same night as that other company? Yes.
Well, they're going to run the NXT brand. They're going to run their NXT to go up against AEW on Wednesday nights.
Well, with NXT, they could be anybody they want. They could put Brock Lesnar on there. They could put Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess they could.
Yeah, they're going to make it 2 hours, and they've only had a 1 hour show so far as long as they've been around. So I'm sure they're going to add a whole lot of new content to it.
So they're going to go 2 hours as well?
Yes, sir.
Wow, man.
I've heard that they're wanting to go 3 hours on Friday night now, whenever they make the move.
Now, and when is this all come about again?
AEW will premiere on October 2nd on TNT, and that'll be NXT, WWE's NXT. They're going to go live on Wednesday, October 2nd also. And then SmackDown will move to that Friday, which will be the October 4th, I believe. And I'm hearing rumors that they're wanting to go to a 3 hour show like Raw on Friday nights. So that's going to be a lot of wrestling for wrestling fans around the world.
So how many nights a week would that be? Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? And that is going to be a lot of wrestling.
Oh yeah, then you have your pay-per-views too. Wow. It'd be hard
And
to
all
keep
the
up
wrestling that's available on the internet, like through Fight TV and.
Well, then you get UFC going on. UFC's on like almost every night too on ESPN.
Oh yeah,
which is owned by Disney, so they're not going anywhere.
It'll be it's definitely going to come this fall. It's definitely going to be a week-long wrestling program going on, and then like with Adrian said, with the pay-per-views monthly, and then when they have they'll do the major pay-per-views. Then you got Sunday night, and then you also got Saturday night's NXT Takeover for the major pay-per-views. So.
And I think go back to the question we were talking about earlier. I think this is going to help podcast even more. You're going to have 10 times more of the content to talk about.
Oh, that's for
definitely.
Sure. I mean, well, for sure. You got God. Are you talking about content? You're going to have tons of it.
We're going to have to figure out a night that we're free to record. We're not watching wrestling now.
Now, I guess if y'all heard like everybody else has heard, I guess where they get into TVs or pay-per-views and the writing's so bad they're having to rewrite everything when they get there. Have y'all heard any of those rumors?
I heard Vince McMahon was tearing up scripts and rewriting the shows like 10 minutes before they go on live.
Who was?
Vince McMahon.
Right.
I guess he's a head honcho.
What's so unusual about that is that, back in the day when everything was good, I mean, Vince knew, a year ahead of time what WrestleMania, what the main event was going to be, and he definitely knew what the shows were going to be and all that. And, that's got to be hard for him to be a perfectionist. And then two guys in this business, this is why it's so important to cooperate with everyone, with the storylines that don't be a hassle for these writers and let them, no matter how good or bad the writing is, let them do what they're doing. Cause say, for instance, if you guys we were writing something, that's okay. I need you guys to do this finish tonight because 6 months this finish is really going to mean something. You go, well, I don't know if that's really good for me, guy. I said, I'm thinking about my future. So then that doesn't happen. Not just to say that finish, but say it's, we have to do something else. Well, 6 months ago down the road when this is really going to mean something. Well, it didn't mean anything because we didn't get that accomplished.
Right.
I think that's what they're having a lot of problems right now. It's just, and it came around a long time ago as far as people like, well, what's going to be in it for me or blah, blah, blah. And I always go back to the stupid Disco Inferno stories where, Arn Anderson, in my opinion, is one of the greatest finishers in the business. When I met Arn, very first met Arn, you could just tell he was an encyclopedia of knowledge of business. I said, this guy one day needs to be a booker or, a finish guy. He had two different finishes in his head all the time he'd come up with. And, being a tag team partner and doing those tag teams, you had to come up with a lot of finishes. And I remember one time him giving the Disco Inferno guy a finish, and food was all over with the Disco Inferno was trying to, well, let's bump the referee, bring another referee, blah, 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 blah. Finally, I said, whatever his name is, I said, just shut the fuck up and do this finish, But that's what you're running into. You just can't get people to cooperate anymore, And then now, it could be just as bad.
So they're more worried about how they look that particular night than how the whole storyline is going to play out down the road. Is that what?
Right. I'm gonna give you an example. One time there was a guy named Michael Bryant who I helped him get set up. There was this really pretty big company who was going to do pay-per-views for just old timers, and this was 25 years ago. So Jim Neidhart and all those guys, the Iron Sheik, weren't old, old like they are now. They were still very capable of working. And there was a big list of those guys. And I was just starting back for WCW. And I remember seeing, actually introduced the guy that had the company to Michael Bryan because we were in New York doing a little independent show now. And it was going bad. I told the guys, man, if you want a chance to succeed, this guy right here, Michael Bryan, he runs a good show and he might be able to help you. Well, I saw him, and at the airport, I was doing a show for WCW, that Baton Rouge or something like that, or one of those towns like that. And I saw the referee, and I don't know if I saw Michael Bryan or not. He said that the guys at the show that night said they'd never do another show because of that very reason. Well, they're all like, well, if this, what does this mean for me? Why can't we do something else? That's not the deal. The deal is, when you start your first show off, you have to have plans for down the road. And if, the very first night, if you can't, get those plans implemented, at least going in the direction you need to go in, the money you're putting into this is not going. You're not going to get your money out. So those guys saw the very first night, and this is how we've always said it in the wrestling business: the boys will fuck up anything. All they had to do is go there and do what they were asking. They'd
For more information about everything we do and for the latest wrestling news, rumors, gossip, and opinions, feel free to visit us at www.tatersandribs.com. It's www.taterzn, as the letter N, RIBZ.com. That's tatersandribs.com.
down from the very first night.
Oh, well.
That's what I'm saying. So, again, I'm sure that didn't happen like that in the WWE so often, but people just need to, I don't know. When things get hard, guys, and I have seen it a few times, what you have to do, you have to really just knuckle down and work a whole lot harder, try to make everything work and do the right things, and don't work hard at doing the wrong things, And I think this is going to be fun to see right now. If these, on both sides, who's going to make the mistakes, and will there be mistakes? Like, I think one of the mistakes was that other company should have paid the money it took to get Eric Bischoff working for them.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Go ahead.
So I heard that Eric Bischoff was, like you were saying, was coming back to SmackDown. No, I've heard him say that when he would write, I don't know if he actually did the booking, but he said he would, out of his mouth, would write the ending of the storyline and book backwards. And it seems that we got a whole lot of good TV out of it.
Now, is he the one you said he's writing SmackDown now?
I don't know if he's writing it per se now, but I think he's in training to take over once Vince McMahon's gonna start doing this football promotion again. And I believe they got him on to be running SmackDown and Heyman to be running Monday Night Raw.
Right. Well, I don't know. That's a tough deal for both of them.
I can imagine.
Well, the thing is, I think too, Eric's always been honest that he's not like the greatest creator or writer. I think he even told somebody, if he didn't, he should have, that whole NWA, he didn't have no idea that thing was going to take off like that. Nobody did.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And so, again, that's not going to happen again. He's not going to come in and make that kind of impact. And then this is something too, and I like Eric as well as I like anyone. It's hard to come in and refurbish him there. They've already had him in WCW, and now he was in the WWF, and now he's back there again. Last time he was there, he was, towed away in a trash can, a garbage truck. So, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, say, for instance, can you say, okay, if you bring him out, say, for instance, this is one of the greatest ways to achieve heat is be the owner or the boss and come out and go, all right, you guys, you know what, you got a podcast? I'm going to fire both of you. You're gonna just be sweepers now. That's one way. Say get heat. You're the boss and you're doing rude things to people. Well, that's already been done. Vince did that as much as Vince has done that as much as a person could do it. It's just I don't know. I'm like you guys. I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do when they really. I mean, I think the build up before they go head to head is going to be interesting to watch too.
Oh, for sure. What a time it is to be a fan.
It really is, man. It really is.
Yeah, well, Wednesday Night Wars is what a lot of people on the internet are calling it. I hope it can at least stand up to what they did in the '90s with Raw and Nitro.
So the biggest war is going to be on Wednesday nights, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And NXT, they've got a cult following. I mean, they're not like a huge household brand, but the people that watch them, I mean, they're loyal as can be.
This is the thing is I've been these autograph signings when Cody Rhodes or who it is called the Bullet Club, when they first, got away from Vince and started this whole thing. You could tell something was really changing. We could tell by the numbers of tickets they're selling and stuff, selling out these shows. But it's just, but is it, to me, is it really that there are that many wrestling fans out there that really want to see wrestling? And now they saw Cody Rhodes on the WWF or the WWE. Why didn't they come then? You know what I mean? He was there already, and he was on the largest platform that we know of wrestling. Now, this platform now, even though it's big, it's still not larger than the WWE.
Oh no!
So why is it all of a sudden? To me, it's got to be something, like something we're not seeing. Say, for instance, I'm just making up numbers. Say there's 50 million wrestling fans, and only a million were coming out, say totally across the country, yearly, because they were tired of the product. And that's easy to say that, it's the product that WWE has is, Kevin Owens on down is pretty poor. So, Sami Zayn and all that. And we know Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho is, I think, better talent than that. But is that going to be enough? Or when this new show gets out, does that expose them and they go, wow, this is what we've really been waiting on, for the fans, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's really, to me, it's the most interesting time I've seen the business in a long time. It can't be Cody Rhodes and this Bullet Club guys have done anything different because they all know who they are. They've seen them before on a bigger platform, but maybe it's just that. Maybe, and of course, I didn't see any of it. I don't know if Cody Rhodes was not being used right. I watched him work with WWE a couple of times, and I think he's one of the greater workers I've ever seen as far as a small guy, He does a lot of good stuff.
Oh, for
sure. You know what I mean? But he still was doing it. Well, WWE, so why weren't they coming out to see him at WWE? Why did it take this new switch? And sometimes it could be that. Maybe sometimes you just need a new environment for people to go, hey, this, and sometimes that's why it's a weird analogy, but that's why they put up these new baseball stadiums all the time, because the old ones, people are tired of going to it. So the best way to get people interested in sports again is put another stadium up. I don't know how to define that philosophy that I'm saying out there. It could be something like that. Maybe they just need something new. And maybe that being, again, a different network and a different group of people. And I don't know. But again, why didn't it work? Why did it not work when he was with the WWE? Why is it all of a sudden working? That to me is the weirdest, maybe the question I would like to, get answered. Why? Again, it seems like, to me, what it suggests is that there was a lot more wrestling fans out there dying to see wrestling, but refused to go see the product that they were they were getting forced to watch. Now that they're getting a new product with this new, the only thing is I don't, the guys from my understanding, Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes are still the same guys, and I guess they're going to bring in some new guys. But then, once you get them on TV, they're going to be the same people that you had on TV with WWE. And to me, that says, okay, hold on a second. We're exposing ourselves for who we were. We're nothing special. Not that they're not special. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're not good. They're good. But they're not, let's say they're not The Rock good or Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean?
Right. Guys that became household names.
Right. I just don't see that happening. I think this TV is a chance to expose themselves to being, hey, we really want all that to start with. You know what I mean? I just don't see how you go from being, just a regular, guy on TV that's a really good wrestler, then all of a sudden go to selling out, which I still have a hard time believing. Vegas is one of the hardest cities in the country to sell out. It's just a tough city because they've seen everything. When a friend of mine named Carl told me about it, and I know he does it live, I thought, man, this has got to be a little bit exaggerated. But evidently it's not, I still just tough to believe they, sell. Now, the Gardens, in New York, I can see that because that's a wrestling city. And, there's a lot of people there to, hell, you could walk. People could walk to Madison Square Garden and fill that place up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But to do it in Chicago, which is, I think it's a pretty good wrestling town, but to do it in Vegas, that's a hell of a deal. I mean, I think
because I believe it's because AEW is something. It's with the current rating situation for WWE for Raw. I think SmackDown's actually beating Raw now in the ratings. But I think it's because since the ratings have been so low, I think AEW is something. It's new. It's refreshing.
Right.
It's giving everybody some hope of. Because Vince is very adamant about I'm into sports entertainment, and
right.
AEW is pushing the notion of we're not sports entertainment, we're a wrestling company, and we're going to
right.
sell a wrestling product. And then back on the Cody thing, I think Cody, the reason that Cody didn't seem as big as he was in the WWE is because he was. I hate to say he was a small fish in a big pond. But when you're coming in under, you've got your big brother that's already established in the industry with Dustin as Goldust. I think he just wasn't allowed to shine with the potential that he does have because Cody has got amazing potential in the ring. He puts on good matches. He's good on the mic. He's got that it factor. I've always enjoyed him. I totally agree with you. He's great. I think now he's gotten the stage to where he can shine and he can let that light of his shine the way that it needs to shine and not be held down.
Well, and that could be again because guys, I see everything from a distance. I don't watch enough of it week to week to know. I do know. Like I said, I've seen the kid. He's a hell of a worker. Just phenomenal, but again, so is Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio still isn't Hulk Hogan. I just, I don't know. I think it's good, do good, but I'm more interested in this than I've been in a long time in wrestling just to see what really happens. Imagine this if they were to, keep this momentum going where they're selling out everywhere they're going every night. That would, guys, that would say what you're sort of saying that, that these talents weren't allowed to, blossom or weren't allowed to, reach their potential because it goes back to that word that we talked about earlier, vindictive booking. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I think that's the case there. I think there is people there that could have gotten over it, and they didn't let them get over it for whatever reason. And that could be what it is, No, Christmas, I don't know. It's just, I'm interested in that. Who's going to benefit from this? Everybody.
Yes, sir.
I think Vince and them are it's going to help their ratings. You know, if you got somebody out there to go against, then now you got something to compare yourself against. And then, you know, I think when the NWO took off, you know, I was working for Vince at the time. We were outdrawing them 100-1. We just weren't beating them in the ratings. But we still outdrawn them. And that's how Vince makes his money, or used to, was the house shows. You know what I mean? So if this could really, truly benefit everybody, and everybody being the boys who would really help see if both territories were doing really good and everybody's getting paid good. And, man, that would be awesome to see that happen again.
Oh, yeah. So many places to work
Definitely.
now. Oh, yeah, and I hear the NWA's taking off. I don't know what channel they're going to be working on, but they're talking about having like a studio wrestling style kind of show. And he's talking about that coming out in October, too. Oh, yes, sir. Oh,
No, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, I'm imagining it's going to be on some kind of internet streaming service because they would have announced a cable deal by now.
Who had the NWA last? It was God dog it was wasn't it a Mexican guy? I worked for him for a while. It's been several years ago. What they were doing, that they were running around, and they actually ran the Phillips Arena Atlanta, and did really well. What they did were the guy would go to, say, Phillips Arena Atlanta, and go, okay, you give me $20,000, and I'm going to bring the wrestlers and the ring and plow transportation, hotel stuff, and then you keep all the gate. And he learned this from that show, that thing called Ice Capades. He used to work with TNA for a while. Not Pedro Morales, but a name something like that. But he sort of got the rights to the NWA there for a while. And he was doing the same thing, going around doing that. And they always did real well the first time. Like the first time we did it at Phillips Arena, man, I mean, it was just me, Tommy Rich, Iron Sheik. I want to say one or two DiBiase's kids, just a bunch of no names, you know, especially, you know, I was in my career, and they had a good house. But what it was is, the second time around, the people go, shit, these are just so, you know, dumbasses, you know, they don't make it. The second, third show don't do as well as the first one. But that's who did have the NWA. I don't know who has it now.
That would be Billy Corgan. He was from the band The Smashing Pumpkins. I'm not sure if you've heard of them or not, but he was in TNA for a little while.
I did an autograph signing for him. He actually, I think, superstar Billy Graham was supposed to show up. He couldn't make it, so they brought me in for it. And this was the beginning stages of when he was taking over.
Right. Yeah, he seems to have big things in mind. I'll give him that. But like I said, it's not on TV. You got everything you find. It has to be on the internet. And you actually got to search for it. And I don't know how many fans are just, you know, getting on the internet to search for a certain product or not.
Right.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. I mean, if they can get that out too, wow. I mean, we ain't gonna have time to talk about it.
Well, something you'll have a lot of time. You'll have a lot of things to talk about for sure.
Oh yeah.
But you'd almost build a podcast every night after the show just for live updates.
Pretty much.
You know.
Oh wow, a lot of different companies.
Sid, you've got a book coming out, correct?
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's called Poetry in the Sand. You know, thing about my career, guys, different than most other people. I wasn't a wrestling fan. I got into it just pure for the business, and then I think everybody's career in this business is sort of the same. It's like poetry in the sand. It just changes from day to day, and it starts off a little bit about my childhood childhood, how I got here. And really, I'm still here in the same county my whole life. And was just a farm kid working on a farm. And then somehow, I'm going to use, I don't know, just a little something differently to talk about. Say, for instance, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday mornings, I used to cross over the Interstate 40 and 55 to go over to the woods, either hunt or fish on weekends. And I think one morning slipping over that interstate, I must have slipped into the vortex and got on Interstate 55 and 40 and become a wrestler as a kid somewhere. But that's, again, I didn't have no passion for it, didn't know anything about it. But again, I was crossing that interstate all the time, going hunting and fishing. But it's a really cool book. It's, again, about my childhood, how, again, not knowing anything about wrestling, and then how I got into it. Again, just still living in the same county I lived in, the day I got in the business, how I haven't really changed that much. And then I want people to know what it feels like to be in a locker room. When you read the book, like, for instance, I read a couple of books before it, and actually when I saw the movie, I thought I'd already saw the movie. I had read the book so well. I want people to be able to read this book and go, man, I was in the locker room. I know what it feels to be in the rain, how hard it is to be on the road. That's what I hope they get out of this.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine the travel was just killer on your body. Like, I heard the travel back then, well, I'm sure it still is today, it was probably worse, was just gruesome. Like, no time for nothing. Did y'all even have time to, like, go home and visit your family and all that when you're on the road?
When my son was born, it was just by coincidence. I was passing through Memphis, and there were two flights that would have got me. I don't know why I was thinking I was going somewhere in Texas, but I was flying from Atlanta. And there was, again, two flights that would have got me to where I was going that night. I had someone pick me up at the airport. I ran, took a picture of my wife and kids at the hospital, and went right back to the airport and went straight to work.
Wow. I mean, I can only imagine the lifestyle.
I mean, you didn't get a day off for, your child.
Right.
Now, that's also working. I was working in the office for WCW at the same time, too. So even on my days off, excuse me, I was still in Atlanta, working. So I didn't have days off,
Right.
Looks like we're getting a little rain out there. It's bad for landscaping.
Oh, I know that all too well. Well, the rain.
Hey, have you seen any of those mowers? They're like 4-wheel drive, and they're called Ferries.
What was that again?
It's a mower. It's like a 4-wheel drive. I was going to Florida, and I saw them. They were they look like little stock cars. But I don't know. It was the coolest mower I ever seen in my life. I'm sure they use them a lot in Florida, because of the wet conditions.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen them around here.
I saw one on I watched that stupid show, American Pickers, and I saw one in the guy's garage the other day. And I was thinking, man, it'd be great when you get them. These zero turns, they get stuck so easy,
Yeah, they do. Oh my man, I've been pulled so many out of ditches and little hills that slid down.
Yeah, shot rocks through windows on a zero turn before.
Yeah.
It's definitely not hard to do.
Obviously, we both have landscaping companies, which it goes back to my childhood as a farmer. I love it. Sometimes I'm out there on my bush hog at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, for me it's the final product, and to just look back at something that looks amazing and say, you know what, I done that.
Right. Well, I did that as a kid. Remember, after disking a day or planting a day or whatever, look back on that and go, man, I actually did that today. And same things like, I got tractors, lights on my tractor. I know where I'm at night. But again, I'm out there at 5 a.m. just, and like you, man, I look back on it and go, wow, a good day's work. Everything looks good. I take pride in what I do as well,
Yes, sir. That's a great feeling.
It really is.
But yeah, we got rained out Saturday, and that just put us out of work altogether. So that's the only downfall we have, really.
Well, we were really lucky that we had a lot of rain there for a while. That it went away, and all of a sudden it sort of showed back up tonight. Which I'm sort of glad I didn't realize until I saw a while ago. I got a dentist appointment in the morning at 8:30.
Oh wow!
But you get my teeth cleaned.
Oh yeah, that's pretty important.
Yeah, it's raining out. Not us, sitting outside on my porch when a big storm's coming.
Oh yeah.
I love rainy nights.
I love that feeling of sitting on your front porch, listening, watching a thunderstorm going on.
Well, I got my own pond in my backyard. I've got a waterfall. Just sitting back there, man, listening to that waterfall, you can just fall right to sleep.
Oh, I could imagine.
Best sound ever is rain falling on a tin roof.
Oh, I know it, right?
Yeah, that put me right to sleep.
Me too.
That's country living right there. It's best.
Well, guys, I enjoyed doing your podcast, and when I get this thing going, if y'all want to have me back, we'll talk more about it. It'd be great to have you come back sometime.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
definitely.
Come on my podcast sometime.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah.
I got one. Sid, I do have one request before we get off the phone here real fast.
All right.
And the guys have put me up to this here, but for the fans, because I know there's going to be people listening to this here, because we're going to promote the crap out of this show, because we've got you on here, and it has been an honor tonight to get to talk to you. It's an absolute honor. I've grown up watching you. You scared me as a child, and I even heard a rumor that the reason you wore black was because you're a big Johnny Cash fan.
That's it.
And actually, we are in our household. Me and my wife, we have a 3-year-old little boy that we actually named after Johnny Cash, and he goes by Cash.
Oh, cool.
But aside from that, real quick, for the fans, can we get a "I am the master and the ruler of the world"?
Sure. You ready?
We're ready.
I'm Sid Vicious, and I am the master, and I am the ruler of the world.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Y'all heard it, folks. Thank you, sir, so much.
Guys,
I idolize you, bro.
And I'd love to come back anytime you guys got time.
Oh, yes,
sure,
sir.
definitely.
We'll definitely be in touch, for sure.
Okay, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You too. Rest well.
All right. Bye-bye.